So let's all join together and thank Drake from Kendallville, Indiana. You know who you are. He's got a sweet looking 6.0. He posted on a Facebook group, 6.0 Power Stroke Performance and Tuning, about a cylinder 5 circuit low code. And he's like, hey, what's going on? Truck runs great. I just have this code. Wondering what's going on. And so what I can tell you is that, yes, it makes sense to ohm out the injectors. Yes, it makes sense to do what Ford calls a wiggle test. You go ahead and you literally wiggle the injector harness and you see if you got any shorts or whatever in it and see what's going on there. Yeah, by all means do those things. Probably though, bummer pal, I'm so sorry. Probably your logic board or your FICM took a dump. And so you lost one of the drivers, they call them MOSFETs, don't you know, a metal oxide field effect transformer, on the decision-making half of your fuel injection control module. But please understand, guys, there's always a reason why. There's a reason why your girl's pissed off at you. There's a reason why your bank account's empty. There's a reason why your bank account's full. There's a reason why your girl's thrilled with you. There's always a reason why. And we got to care about the reasons why. So it's kind of like buying a brand new set of Michelins and keep on getting upset when you keep on getting flat tires. The problem is not the Michelins. The problem is you're driving over nails. And so if you clean up the nails, very sadly, you still have a hole in your tire. So step one, what needs to happen is that alternator needs to be tested and figured out, is the alternator the culprit? And, you know, if you live in a colder climate like in Indiana, a tundra type climate, we live in Iowa, we're not talking trash on you, we're the same climate. Recognize that voltage regulators kill FICMs. So bad alternators kill FICMs. And so what happens is this alternator spends its life playing the little engine that could, you know, I think I can, because it only does 75 amps at cold idle, but there's a 230 amp draw against the system for a good bit of time, up to 2 minutes after ignition on a 0 degree startup. It's only like a half a second at 90, but even at 50, it's still 45 seconds. And so you've got a 230 amp draw, and it's going on that whole time while the glow plugs are running, you know, pulsing in, pulsing out, and whatever. It's just a hellacious amount of current coming in and coming out of that, you know, of that charging system. And your stock alternator only has 75 amps at cold idle coming off to offset that. Now you compare this with, you know, the VT365, which came with an incredibly larger alternator, you know, from International. And so it's the same motor, same cam, same crank, same everything. It's just, it came with a much larger alternator. And so probably 1 in 200 FICMs that come into us for repair come into us from Internationals. The rest of them come from Power Strokes. The only difference is the alternator. So this bad boy behind me is a 240 amp alternator. It does 190 amps at cold idle, and that's just a huge and massive upgrade over the 75 amp undersized turd that you've got up in there now, stock. And because that alternator crosses to a Fusion, a Mustang, a Bronco, all these vehicles that don't have glow plugs. And so if you're, you know, trying to make that work, I mean, it could work, and you can get another alternator up in there the same size. You can say, well, this, you know, this one lasted this long, this is okay, but you're throwing good money after bad. And so, you know, most 6-liter owners, they only get 2 years out of their batteries. I own 6 of these trucks. I average 7 years out of my batteries. It's not that I'm running better batteries. It's that I'm running a far larger alternator. Now, the bummer with this particular alternator is you have to add to the factory's cabling to run it. So the good news is we carry cable kits for that purpose. The bad news is that they're not free. But watch my other videos on alternator cabling and whatnot. You can get more information there. But for now, know that your problem is almost certainly, you know, Drake in Indiana, your problem is almost certainly your FICM, and it's caused by either somebody cranking the living bejesus out of this thing, trying to get it to start, following high pressure oil system work. Please watch my other video on how to prime the high pressure oil system on YouTube. I'm just FICM Repair on YouTube. And likely, probably, you've got an alternator that's misbehaving. Now, if you take a look at the cost of the FICM and you're just like, man, the piggy bank's only so full, please recognize the standing record for killing a perfectly awesome FICM with a screwed up charging system. Guys, it's 15 seconds after ignition. ouch. And so we don't want you to have a problem. So minimally, if you're eating ramen noodles, please don't buy one of my alternators. Just let's go ahead and take care of the FICM, sure. And you can maybe, limp by on an auto parts alternator or something, or you can get like our 140. I mean, it's better than nothing, certainly. But that one only does 85 amps at cold idle, so yeah. But so if you live in South Texas, great, but you don't. But it is what it is. And it's just it's a cost to play kind of conversation. But if you want to test your alternator, I've got guidance on this also on my YouTube channel. But what you want to do is you want to take your alternator off the truck, do something ridiculously bizarre, but so functional. Realize that voltage regulators, they fail when they're hot. They really don't show their ugly symptoms when they're cold. And so what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to say, hey, take the alternator off the truck, drop it in the kitchen oven, possibly when mama's not looking, just saying, and 225 for an hour, not 400. Let's be smart about this. All we're trying to do is reenact the environment that alternator would see when you're stuck in traffic on a 95-degree day, and whip it out of there with some shop towels, hike it over to the local auto parts store, be neighborly, say, hey, this is hot, don't freaking burn yourself, but please test my alternator and let's see how it's good. And see if it's good or not. And so that'll at least give you a strong indication of reality. If it tests out bad, ding, 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 we have a winner. If it tests out good, though, please understand the test is not perfect. I don't mean to scare anybody. I don't ever want to sell anybody anything. I just want you to not have problems. And so we have seen a handful of cases. Normally it's a pretty good test, but we have seen a handful of cases where the alternator was bad, even though it tested out good on the bench, even though it went to multiple auto parts stores, which makes no sense to my head, but it's just the way the world works. So if you've got more than like 160,000 miles on your alternator, please consider replacing the stupid thing anyway. It owes you no favors, and it just causes all kind of problems. And if you look at the reviews, people that are running a larger alternator, they're like, oh my goodness, my truck runs so much better. No more dancing headlights, no more weak starts, no more all this kind of stuff. It's just better. And of course, you're not putting a monkey on the back of your FICM, really crosshairs on the back of your FICM as a result of inadequate or spiky supply side voltage. So if you want to send your FICM in for repair, go to FICMRepair.com. There's a menu option on the left for sending modules in, and then there's a sub menu for I think it's called module repair and tuning. Here, let me just go ahead and look while we're talking. I can never remember this. I have no idea why. It's just I call it old personitis. But yeah, module repair and tuning is the main menu option, and then there's a sub menu underneath that called 6.0 liter FICM, send your module in for repair. So you click on that, scroll down just a little ways, you'll see what looks like a piece of paper. That's our intake form. Click on that, print that out, tell us who you are, tell us what service level you want. We have a good, better, best on the FICM. There's differences. Your money's buying reliability. It's got a lifetime warranty for a reason on that top end, right? It's just better, more resilient. It's just better. So if you wanted to do that, you certainly could. And you can. There's a checkbox to buy the alternator and the associated cabling if that's what you want to do. And off to the races. Alternatively, if you can't afford to be down, it's not like we don't have these things on the shelf. We totally do. We are, after all, FICMRepair.com. Don't you think we have FICMs on the shelf? Sure we do. And so we can send you out a unit on exchange. You can go to FICMRepair.com and order it up right there, along with that alternator, along with those cables, if that's what you wanted to do. So I hope this helps you, Drake. And yeah, sorry you're having trouble, brother. But we carry everything from everyone, like 16 million auto parts. I can't think of the company we don't carry their stuff for. So whatever you want, we got you. And we haven't been beat on price in 15 years or so. And we price match for 30 days after the sale. So whatever you need, we totally got you. But the goal is never to sell you stuff. It's just to tell you stuff. And thanks for hanging in and listening to all this. It was a lot to take in. All right. Thanks much. We'll see you. Bye-bye.